My name's Lucy, and we've got Alden. I'll let him introduce himself. But my sort of background is as a TV host, and I've also done a lot of producing. I produce my own independent TV show. That's why I'm very supportive of anyone going out there creating their own projects and getting their sort of brand together. So AlleyWire is a video-centered media outlet, and we showcase and highlight entrepreneurs, startup companies. So we're constantly trying to tell stories, get their message across, and do it in the best way possible. Alden, would you like to share your stories?
My name's Alden. I'm the head of production at AlleyWire, so I manage the videography team. We're shooting and editing all week long and producing content. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I've done 4 crowdfunding campaigns. The last 2 were on Kickstarter, one of them for a documentary that raised $21,000, and the other one is still live. We just reached our goal last night of $58,000, and we still have 12 days to go. And I did the videos for both of those campaigns and also strategized both of those campaigns.
So has anyone actually gone about starting a video yet for the, I know that some of you had mentioned kind of, what are some of the challenges that you're coming up against? Don't all speak at once.
I guess I could sort of, we just went through the concept phase of the video. We wanted to do something with whiteboard animation.
Okay.
And with B-roll, you know, where we kind of cut away to this whiteboard animation as the person comes. And our biggest challenge is sort of figuring out how to get people psychologically going through this phase where we end up at a point at the end where they're like, okay, we want to put some money in there when we get involved.
And I think that goes off what Brian had mentioned, is that this is the way that you can really engage with your audience. It's not the answer to your campaign, but it is a vital part of the equation. And video is something that, you know, we all use to communicate, and it's great for content marketing. So how to create an engaging crowdfunding video. So we'll get past that boring stuff. All right, let's go on to, it's an opportunity to set yourself apart.
Yeah, so I would say that at least my personal motto whenever I'm trying to produce any kind of content, especially for something like this, is start with nobody cares, and so how do I make them care? Which is, it's a little bit of an ego, like hit on your ego, but it's the truth. It's like nobody cares about what your piece of tech is or what your company is. So start there and kind of build up. And what can you do in your video to, in just a couple minutes, make somebody want to give money, hit your wallet, like you were saying. And I think that that also goes to this kind of like fraud aspect that Alex had mentioned in the beginning, is that this is an opportunity for you to share who you are, not just your company, not just what you're producing, but you as a person. And it kind of alleviates that risk that somebody might feel if they're making this donation. So if they see you talking on camera and get a sense of who you are, what you can do through this video, they're much more likely then to give you money in your campaign.
And I think that's important to remember, you know, even if you're not a professional in front of the camera, or even if you're not a professional behind the camera, if you're passionate about what you're doing, that will come across, but you do have to make that video meaningful. So I think this was mentioned earlier by Alex, success rates are 50%, those projects with video, and then those without 30%. It doesn't have to be perfect, it really doesn't. I mean, we're lucky because we know about video and how to produce it, but there are so many videos out there that have been made on less expensive equipment, but it's successful because that message is getting across.
And you can even think about like the viral videos that'll go around on the internet, something really emotional, but sometimes these things are nothing but montages of photos and words. Not saying that that's what your campaign video should be, but it does go to show that like the authenticity that you have and what you're actually trying to convey does push through the actual quality. Even if you look at like a commercial film versus an independent film, you can kind of, there's this like quality barrier obviously, but the stories and stuff, and your story is what's going to kind of push through anything else.
All right, video is only part of the crowdfunding, which I mentioned earlier. Okay, now let's watch if we have sound, so I'm going to see. So Flint and Tinder, they did this crowdfunding video. Let me see if we can play it first. All right. And let me hope that there's sound as well. We'll watch it and then we'll go through. Okay, no sound. I love this. We're talking about how to create a great video. We can't even get the sound going. Trust us, this is a good video. Though.
So, Flint and Tinder is...
Yeah. So Alden, do you want to tell them what Flint and Tinder does?
So he's going through right now saying that he went to underwear stores, the underwear department, men's underwear department in different department stores and looked at each of the brands, and none of them were made in America. None of them really kind of like fit his sort of, I guess, taste and stuff. So
he has a
I'll
really
kind of like,
good hook line at the beginning, and that's extremely important. You've got to grab their attention because a lot of the time, the first and last thing of your video is what people remember. So you have to make sure you get that hook line at the very beginning. His video production is really good.
He has
The
a nice
sound,
shirt.
he has a nice shirt. Did you wear that especially for this?
No, but that was...
a lot of great visuals. He's telling a story as well. He's showing us why this is important, why people need to be part of this.
So this is their production facility, or this facility where they're making the underwear. They show the raw materials, or the thread and the elastic that they're using to make it. But what you really get is a sense that this person can make underwear. I believe that if this is his company, which is something, it's like very simple, and this is kind of what I mean by nobody cares, but you obviously know what you are good at and you know what you can do, but other people don't. So I have no reason to believe that this man can make underwear until I've seen this video and I see, oh, he actually knows a thing or two about producing this this product. And I think that that's one reason why this video was very effective. This is also a company that AlleyWire covered for full.
And also it's important to get the name of your brand in there as many times as possible. Also don't oversell it, but do get the name in there so people can remember. We can then go on to Alden's video. Alden actually created a really good Kickstarter video, which will show you the visuals because we don't have sound, but we have the person to talk about it.
So this is the one that I was just talking about today. So what I wanted to talk about with this video specifically is that obviously the process of creating this video was a little different because we were all filmmakers. These are the directors of the film. I have no like creative role in this film at all.
Documentary film.
Is that it? All right.
Yay!
Oh, you have to turn it on. There's an on button.
That's it.
Are we recording? Do you have any shine or powder to start the action? I'm Sabina Krangu, and I'm Siva Olbani, and we're the directors of Letters from Baghdad, a documentary film about the brilliant and adventurous Gertrude Bell, sometimes referred to as the female Lawrence of Arabia. She was the most powerful woman in the British Empire, helping to reshape the Middle East after World War I. She drew the borders of Iraq, helped install its first king, and created the Baghdad Museum of Antiquities that was ransacked in 2003 during the American invasion. Because she was fluent in Arabic and had traveled extensively into the uncharted Arabian desert, on another side, her personal life was full of tragedy and losses, the words to life. So 2 years ago, we decided to look for footage in archives around the world, and what we discovered blew us away.
So you get the idea, and we'll actually go back very quickly and show you the first video.
But there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about with this, especially when you're thinking about producing your own video for a Kickstarter. So one is just the story in general. They're talking about not only the story of the film and Gertrude Bell, who the film's about, but their story and how they came to this place where they're making this documentary. And that's kind of one thing that gets people engaged. And also with the film specifically, we don't necessarily have the entire thing done. That's the reason for the Kickstarter in general. But that kind of like adds to this dynamic, so you don't have to show scenes from your film or talk plot point by plot point, or all the nitty-gritty details of your company or product or whatever you're making. You can talk more about your own personal story and why you are there and why you're the person to make this film, build this product, etc., etc. But also, so like the planning of this. We were planning this months ago. Our script, the script that they spoke, they said, I think went through probably like 7 to 10 revisions over the space of a few weeks. We shot this video 3 times. Each time that we shot it and edited it, we created a new script, and then the final version went between myself, the editor, and back to myself for like 5 different cuts. And why I say that is that these things take a lot of time, especially video content. You can write up your campaign thing, which will also take a lot of time, but really planning ahead to make sure that this is kind of part of your schedule as you're launching. I think somebody else is going to be talking about the strategies of your campaign and might mention too about how much work goes into before you launch, and this is definitely one of those things that's going to take up a lot of your time. Also, that there's no real formula for these videos. There's like a handful of things that you should definitely have, but the actual style, the content of it, and the kind of visual techniques that you use to tell your story, there's no formula. Ziva, one of the directors, kept asking, what does everybody do in their campaign? Well, does everybody else do this? For every like idea of like the outtakes in the beginning, does everybody else do outtakes in the beginning? And there's no answer. So that's both freeing and also a little intimidating, especially if you don't know, if you're not a video person. Who here has like zero idea of how to produce a video or doesn't know where to start at all? Who to contact? So that might be very scary for you folks, because what is it like? You kind of want this basic template that you can start from, and that's it's really open to whatever you want to do. And the Flint and Tinder video is another good example, because it was done a few years ago, and just seeing the kind of change from how people make their videos then to now, it's becoming a little bit more formulaic. This video, I think, is a little bit more of a formula than the one before.
And I think that's, I mean, we're not going to, I know we're very short on time, we won't go back and show you the other one, you saw the visuals. The visuals are really important. Music's great, there's a lot of license-free music available. If you know someone who's in a band, you know, that sort of thing, incorporate that. Graphics, music, sound is very important, because if you can't hear someone correctly, they're going to turn off. We know, we all do it on YouTube. If something's mumbling, you can't see it very well, or hear it very well. And then get your name in at the beginning, at the end, tell a story, get your message across, and make sure that the audience connect with you. Anything? No?
Are we going back to the slideshow?
Oh no, I think we're going to sit
Okay.
down.
All
All right, that's it.
Is there anything else that you want to show a slideshow?
Well, the last thing too is that, like, so you have a couple of options if you don't know where to start with your video. You can either hire like a creative agency or some sort of like group. AlleyWire happens to have a creative services wing where we do video production commercially, but you can also find a freelancer. So you can go on Mandy.com or Craigslist or something and try to find somebody who can shoot and edit your video yourself. If you don't know anything about video production at all, that can be a little bit more of a sticky, like you might not necessarily know what to look for as you're hiring these talents, whereas a production company will be that kind of filter for you, but it will be more expensive. Yes?
So actually, it seems like the successful videos are shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the longer videos succeed too, like let's say over 5 minutes?
The other campaign that I did for another documentary, we raised $21,000, and that video was 5 minutes. How many people sat through and watched the whole 5 minutes? That I can tell you.
And I think that goes off from everyone listens to the beginning and the end. If it was 5 minutes, I know I'm the sort of person, I'll watch the beginning and then I just put my cursor over and watch the end bit. So whatever you do, make it good at the beginning and end, and hopefully the middle as well.
But shorter versus longer.
Yeah. Someone
Shorter
mentioned it earlier.
would be better, because even if the video is 5 minutes, even this video, we stopped it partway through because it's starting to lag, and that's kind of viewing habits in general. People will watch it for as long as they're interested in, so if you can get everything you want to say in the shortest amount of time, they'll stick around.
It's only 3 minutes before the middle,
Mhm.
it started.
Yeah.
And our first one is over 5.
Mm-hmm.
And watching it because we love seeing it, obviously, but then, you know, we're so biased, you know what I mean? And now, that's only 3 minutes of episode, like, so I can imagine what people will think when they start watching.
Do we have time to show that first one or not really? No. But check it out because that when you hear the sound, it's engaged. I think that's 3 minutes.
It's about 3 minutes.
And that goes really quickly because it's constantly engaging with the music and the graphics and its animation and everything. I'm sorry.
It's also color.
Yes, exactly.
The Oculus one is actually 5 minutes. Actually, I went back, there's a whole Facebook talk, and the Oculus one out for $2 million. So their video Kickstarter would raise 2.5 million, things like 5 minutes. And it actually sets the whole thing.
That was Oculus?
The Oculus one, yeah. It was
He doesn't look like Peter's the CEO of Microsoft. That was the first one he's ever backed this film. You're the first thing he ever backed this film.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, Dwight Peters from Microsoft. I can introduce you. They have a syndicate of Kickstarter backers, over 1,300 members who actually have been vetted to show how many they back. And the fact that there's 20 projects to make it into this secret group. So he's a good person.
Sounds good.
Alright, so we actually have time.
Let's just sit down.